Hi, it's Joanna here with Four-Legged Scholars Dog Training, and we're here with Terri and Josie. And Terri actually is a past client of mine that I worked with years ago, and then got another dog and wanted to get some more help. And she did all of her training through online, live, personalized dog training, and wanted to share what her experience was like with us. So Terri, why don't you show with us what were some of the struggles that you were dealing with Josie before you worked with us?
So Josie's a rescue. We got her through Best Friends in Kanab, Utah. And she, when we did her embark genetic thing, she's a lot border collie, predominantly border collie. And my husband and I had never had a dog. We had had Goldens and Cockers and Samoyeds, kind of quiet, lovey dogs. And Josie right away just had a different kind of energy. She was a lot of energy as a puppy. And I was a little overwhelmed by that. I wasn't used to that. I was used to just a quieter, I mean, I thought would be fine. I just thought puppies were puppies, but this was a puppy that just was far more energetic, and I was really uncertain what to do.
Yeah, she was jumping on you and needed a lot of attention, and then sometimes barking for attention, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the first 2 weeks we had her, three of my favorite sweaters were completely shredded.
Oh, that's so sad, especially when
So
they're your favorite ones.
loved her to pieces and was like, this is not sustainable.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, completely different energy than a cocker spaniel for sure.
Right. Yep.
So what were some of the things that um, I helped you with to help you deal with that hyperactivity so that you knew what to do to help Josie be more calm?
The very first thing I remember is that in the first session, you helped us understand that Josie needed to be learning and to be engaged, have her brain engaged really all day long. And I remember you saying something to us like, she should work for every meal. And I didn't even know what that meant. And then we started getting some of you had the ideas of like putting her food in little muffin tins and having the tennis balls, nothing that was expensive or extravagant, but having her find her food, throwing food around the floor so she could walk around and find it. Then we asked you to help us with some tools we could get online. We got the cube, I can't remember what it's called, but the treat cube that she had to roll around to find her food. That
The
was
Buster Cube.
huge. Every time she kind of was getting overwrought, we would just put some of those in. And if we wanted to watch a TV show, for example, in the evening, we would just bring the cube into the TV room and she would roll it around and find food slowly. And then one of the big breakthroughs was the snuffle pad, which she has to sniff around in between to find it, to find her food. And you explained to us that that created a calming effect because she was using her nose so much. And so then we started using that, like when the grandkids would come over and she would get really hyped up, and they were all hyped up. They're like 11, 13, and 15, love animals, but we would have them take the snuffle pad in and they would watch her play with it, which would calm them down, and then she would calm down. So it gave us a lot of tools for how to keep her engaged, and it was instantly effective. Everything changed in our household with that. It was huge.
That is so awesome because I know how it can be when you have a really hyper dog and you still have your day-to-day activities that you got to do.
Right. Well, and here we were during the pandemic and we were both working from home, and so we needed to be able to do what we needed to do.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And there were some other things that we incorporated in there too. I remember we were wanting to get her to ring a bell to go potty. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that was really fun. You had taught me that with our previous dogs, and I had found it over the years so amazing. I never had a dog that barked at the door. I never had a dog that scratched at the door. And What I didn't remember was how we trained the dogs to do it. And she loved that. Just her nose had to touch the bell to get a treat. And we did that for quite a while, although she picks up things really quickly. And then eventually we did it next to the door. And then I think you instructed us like hang it on the door in between trainings to leave it out. And like 2 days later, we were sitting in the room next to the back door and we hear the bell go off. and and we go out and she's standing at the door, and sure enough, she wanted to go out. We also ended up putting one on the outside of the door, which I had never done before because we have a fenced yard. And so now when we let her out, when she's ready to come in, she just comes and rings the bell on the outside of the screen, which we can always hear. And so she has control over when she wants to go out and also when she wants to come in, which is nice because we don't have a doggy door.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. And that's such a helpful thing for a border collie to do because she gets to use her mind to
Yeah,
figure out what she needs to do to get what she wants. And then
right.
it also gives her that opportunity to communicate, to get that energy out when she needs it. So that's great. That's great.
Fantastic.
Awesome. So if somebody were to ask you, like, what is Josie like now after working with us, what would you say?
Oh, I would say that she knows she knows so many things now. She's very command driven in terms of sit down, relax, come. She only gets on the sofa if we invite her on the sofa. She's just she's more confident. Whatever fear symptoms she was having as a rescue have really reduced. And I think that I feel like she we and she understand each other. Like you've taught us cues to watch for, and so we feel more confident that we can get into her head a little bit and know how to help her when we've worked through different things she's been afraid of, like the harness. How do we turn that into a fun training session? And I think training now for us is like a play activity with her. We look forward to it. We just have the training stuff sitting on the counter. If I have a free 15 minutes between the business appointments, we just do some training. So it just feels like she's a much more confident and dog who's in control of her energy rather than her energy being in control of her.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
such a wonderful experience to have that because we want to enjoy our dogs without having like day to day constant frustrations going on.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Well, we have loved working with you. I'm sure we'll be back in touch at different stages as always. And yeah, I think 13 years, 12 years between our
Yeah.
previous dogs and this dog. So it's been really fun and shocking how well I do think you're right that the training online is actually more productive than when you used to come to the house. It was fun to have you at the house. But I think in terms of the amount of time we've had for actual training sessions, we've gotten through so much more stuff online than with the you come in the house and the whole experience of okay, let the dog calm down. We're so excited Joanna's here. This has been, I think, just fantastic in ways I wouldn't have guessed.
That's awesome. Like I've noticed that time and time again when I look at the amount that I can cover on the online sessions than I can in person for that exact reason because the dogs get so excited. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
So
so cool.
yes, it's been amazing. We love it. She's done so well. And I recommend you. I've already recommended you to clients, to friends. Last week to my doctor in a conversation because she has a new puppy. Same thing. She had never had a working dog as a puppy. And yeah, so I hope they all call you, Joanna. They'll be glad they did.
Oh, that's so sweet. We absolutely loved working with you, and I'm so glad that we were able to help you. And we're definitely going to miss you for sure, but I know that we're going to stay in touch.
Oh yeah.
And thank you so much.
Thank you, Joanna.